Yeah, any film that addresses this issue in a reasonable and truthful way is important. The truth is being withheld from the American people as to the imminence of this crisis. This is not 15, 20 years. It can't be enough to say we'll be off fossil fuels by 2050. By 2050, there'll be nothing left of this planet. We have between 3 and 5 years, basically, to handle this and come up with an alternative. The alternative is there. What's missing is the will. There's no will on the part of our politicians because they represent the industries that they should be regulating. They don't listen to the people anymore. The people have to get their attention. That means they have to go out in the streets. They have to do what Black Lives Matter. See, they're the standard. Because what they did is they really understood the problems in their local communities, and then they acted on it. And instead of being separated from each other, like in Ferguson, where they picked them off one at a time, they said, no, we all got to come together. If we all come together, we have strength. That's what the Panthers said. This does nothing. This is power, power to the people. What I want people to come away with this film? Well, for the most part, I think this group of people are the choir. I think they know this issue. I think they're all activists, or they should be. What I would ask them is, okay, you supposedly care that much about the environment? Don't eat meat. The animal agriculture sector produces more methane than the whole transportation sector throughout the country. Yeah, that's all the trucks. Yeah, more damage from animal agriculture than the whole transportation, the burning of fossil fuels to deliver our products. So if you care about it, all you have to do is stop eating meat 1 day a week. 1 day a week makes a huge difference. Then what happened to SeaWorld with blackfish happens to the meat industry, and then we can pull it back and we can transition those cattlemen and those pig farmers out of that into another agriculture because I have a dear friend who had a cattle ranch, and he used so many antibiotics and growth hormones that he gave himself a cancer all up his spine, almost died from it. We poison the food that we eat, and therefore we poison ourselves, we poison our children and our children's children. We raise our health costs. We allow the medical and pharmaceutical industry to grow way out of proportion, and this is not going to work.
Yes. Make me want to go home and get a salad.
Good. That's a start.
I feel inspired.
That's a start. 1 day a week.
That's right.
Then maybe you'll like it and you'll go 2 days a week.
Yes,
See?
yes.
Two days a week.
Throw some chicken in there. I make it fancy.
No, don't throw any chicken. Have you ever held a chicken? You see, that's the thing. You gotta come up. You gotta feel animals' bodies. You gotta feel they're creatures. They have a destiny. They have a desire to live. They are when chickens, when pushed, are incredibly courageous. They're intelligent animals. They're not. We think, oh, you're like a chicken with its head cut off, but that's not who animals are. We have diminished animals and made their contribution less because we realized that if we said, oh no, that animal is incredibly smart, you couldn't kill it and you wouldn't eat it.
Well, now I feel horrible, but once again, I've learned something. Yeah.
And stop eating meat and you'll feel better.
I couldn't be happier and prouder to be a part of the first LA Film Festival. You know, how utterly bizarre in a city that's so sort of seemingly focused on green ideas and forward thinking that there's not already a film festival that's devoted to green. But incredible that KCET, which has its roots in the community, is such a great station. It's such a sort of repository for so much extraordinary history and knowledge about LA, both in the past and the future, and that the fact that they would sort of stand as a commitment to that. Now, more than ever, we need it. You know, when insane things are being said about what's real and what's not real, truth and fiction, you know, are blurred. And so having a sane voice of reality, a sane voice that really talks about what's going on, you know, what the truth is and what we can do, what kinds of actions we can take. I'm excited about tonight too, because from what I understand anyway, Al Gore's first movie was, really a wake-up call, and it sounds like tonight's movie is also then about sort of talking about some of the progress and some of the positive things that are happening. I think that we get so much bad news on a regular basis that it's so easy to kind of go to apathy, sort of like the heck with it. It's all gonna, we're all gonna burn up, and it's all. Yeah, so I think it's good to know that there's an opportunity to be able to see actions that are positive and good and really sort of creating forward momentum. I think that gives all of us a sense of hope, and that keeps us connected to, doing the right thing.
So what would you say is the first step for someone that isn't familiar with our environment or climate change? What's the first thing that they can do to help make a healthier world?
Awareness about the world we live in is everything, and what everyone says is there are 1,000 little steps that add up to big steps. So conservation matters. Thinking about your water use, thinking about your recycling, thinking about the choices you make. I was told by a climatologist that the biggest thing that any one of us could do is actually stop eating beef. Because of methane from cows. Cows and cow production is one of the most potentially damaging things for the planet, and then all the forests that get ripped up for grazing land, and frankly, cow farts are essentially what creates methane, and all of those things are, all of these things add up. And if you can't if you can't stop eating that hamburger that you love, maybe do it a few times less, or really think about turning off the lights. I mean, all of these things, if you think exponentially, they really do matter. And I think if we can also get past the point where we're actually debating whether there's climate change or not. I mean, does anyone think that it's actually colder than it used to be? And I mean, I don't know in any city that I've traveled, and I travel all the time, that everyone says, God, it's hotter, it changes, things are different. Let's stop the discussion about whether or not there's climate change. Let's actually have it out, and let's just figure out solutions. So that's what I'm committed to.
Thanks, Goody.
Well, thank you so much. Have an amazing night. I hope you enjoyed the film, and it was great meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Take care.